Hello, everybody. My name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Weekender. It's a little early. My Thursday partner in crime, David Hunter, is with me. How are you, David?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. Yeah, how are you?
Good stuff. Yeah, not too badly at all. And keep this one quite light. Be very honest, there isn't too much FPL discussion in this one. Catch up on a few things and preview a few things that are about to be happening before we're going to take a break from content before we do chips and strategy again on Tuesday, April the 7th. We're talking about a little bit about England, what we think Tuchel might want to do with his final squad, World Cup playoff preview. Also talking about Mo Salah has announced he's leaving Liverpool, and Liverpool have a fight on their hands to try and qualify for the Champions League next season. We're going to be having a little look at the race for Champions League qualification places, but we will start with a little bit of reflection because we've not really done this on Sunday's Carabao Cup Final. Congratulations to Manchester City. I was so pissed off with my team. He didn't really mean a lot to me, but was the small glimmer of joy in my Sunday, along with West Ham losing. Sorry. Did you watch the game, David?
It was sort of on, but I'd be lying if I said I was completely glued to it. But yeah, I kind of half followed it. It looked like City were worthy winners by the end, actually. First half, reasonably even. Arsenal had some good chances, and maybe we'll get onto the goalkeepers. There seems to be quite a lot of discourse around playing sort of backup goalkeepers in domestic cup finals, which maybe we can get onto in a minute. But yeah, amazing day for Nico O'Reilly, wasn't it? Both goals and great day for him. Whether it's whether it's sort of going to be significant in the grand scheme of things, I don't feel like my opinion has changed on Arsenal winning the league after City winning on Sunday. But yeah, job well done from City. It looked like we can maybe get onto the keepers now. James Trafford had his good day, and Kepa's obviously made a massive error for the first goal. But
These
yeah,
things are always really hindsight
yeah, they are.
with
Yeah,
the goalkeeper stuff. I think people remember the Kelleher example for yourselves against Chelsea when Kepa he's become a bit of a League Cup final
yeah,
legend, isn't
yes,
he?
yeah. It's not been a happy
Refusing to get
time.
subbed, missing key penalty and dropping. Essentially, we have to call it a bit of a clanger for City's first goal on Sundays. It's become League Cup final folklore, Kepa. But yeah, Jurgen Klopp spoke about the importance of playing Kelleher when you'd beat Chelsea on penalties a few years ago. And no one afterwards goes, "Oh, Allison should have played." Or
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember I've been on both ends of that in the sense of like Hugo Lloris coming in for the 2015 final against Chelsea, which felt a bit harsh against Michel Vorm. We lost anyway. Then we played Chelsea in an FA Cup semi-final a couple of years later, and he left Vorm in goal. And everyone went, "Well, if Lloris had played,
Yeah.
so we lost both ways." So, I mean, I think for a number two goalkeeper, your kind of primary role is to be ready when something happens to the number one. And during the course of a season, you obviously do so much individual training together. A lot of your job is to make sure that the number one is best prepared as he possibly can be. And I think we underestimate the importance and value of these players in squads, etc. And if he's been told, look, in this competition, you will play no matter what, as long as you're fit, you ain't going to go and change it.
Yeah. I
You're not.
completely agree with that. It's there's so much work that goes in that we don't see sort of day in, day out on the training ground from not just reserve second choice goalkeepers, but third choice goalkeepers as well. It's important for them to feel involved, and yeah, if they're told at the start of
And
the season that it's their tournament, then
let's
I
remember
don't
with James
agree.
Trafford, they bought him, we
Before
think, to be number
Donnarumma.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
He had a bit of a nightmare against Tottenham in game week two. And then they bought Donnarumma. And so what about for him?
yeah,
And no one's reflected on this. Oh, Donnarumma should have played.
yeah, exactly because of the result.
So yeah, look, I understand it. I think from a fan perspective, you do think it's a cup final. It's massive for me. And I guess like for Arsenal fans, it's been a while since they've got the trophy. It's coming, but it's been a while. You want to get that first one over the line. So many top teams in recent history have kind of started with a League Cup victory. Does feel like that way.
Yeah.
Mourinho's Chelsea.
Mhm.
I think it might have even been Pep's first trophy as well. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. But so many teams have started with a strong League Cup victory to then kick them on. So I know for the Arsenal fans, it would have been very important. But what's right there?
I think
What's
I,
right there?
I don't think there's a problem playing Kepa there. It's just unfortunate that that's the sort of hindsighty take after it, really, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, Arsenal fans, from what I saw on our Slack community, there were very few complaints, to be honest. Like City, City did what they had to do, and yeah, on the day they were the better team. But I still think I don't think it was a particularly heartbreaking fashion where it's going to leave loads of mental scars for Arsenal moving forward. I don't think.
No, and I think we should factor on players missing for Arsenal, like during Timber, Eberechi, Eze. You're obviously not playing Raya in this as well. Odegaard's been unavailable. I think Saka's not at top form
Yeah,
at this moment. No one's kind of really grabbed the left wing position. I think Gyökeres has shown more signs of promise recently. But actually, on a given day, with the players that Arsenal had unavailable, I don't think we should be too shocked, really. I didn't actually think Arsenal would win this, and I thought we'd probably go all the way to penalties. And maybe if Kepa catches the cross,
maybe it would have
maybe
done.
that is what ends
Yeah,
up happening. Whereas for City, yes, a few unavailabilities for them as well, particularly defensively. Sounds like Nathan Ake played particularly well. And Kusanov is aggressive in everything he does. And I think he's getting better the more he plays. Nico O'Reilly went back to left back, essentially, bar the kind of centre back issue, playing what would look on paper to most people, I think, strongest team. And very importantly, piss taker Ray and Cherky in it, who has definitely boiled some piss over the course of this week. And unless you're an Arsenal fan, I think you think it's great. These things are always great unless they happen against your team, by the
yeah,
way.
that's
Good.
it.
There's not enough players who want to show a bit of cheek in the modern game and stuff. I'm all for it, me personally.
Yeah,
Pep
same.
wasn't, was he? When he was doing the kick ups, Pep was like, obviously chewing on
Stop
his
that.
spit as per usual, but was
That's
like
horrible.
shaking his head. I know we've said this before about Pep. What is going on with that?
Yeah,
Um, but you could see how much it meant to Pep as well, with his celebrations on the goals. And I think we saw that in the FA Cup victory at Newcastle as well. And there's been other games where it's felt like he's not so involved in what's happening and been a bit more kind of passive in terms of his mannerisms. When he looks up for it, truthfully, he does, I think, have a positive impact on them as well when
yeah,
they
sure it
recognise how
does.
much the manager is up for it. So tactically, I think the thing to reflect on that was interesting was City played very much a 4-2-4 out of possession, and the four played as a block at the top end of the pitch in a line from right to left, with Semenyo on the right, Doku on the left, and Haaland and Cherky centrally. I've spoken in the past about problems of Haaland and Cherky going to press together, and actually felt Tottenham really exposed that back in that game in game week 2, and it not feeling quite right. But this they set up as a block and said, right, play for us, basically. Then went aggressive on the pitch behind. So if City were letting Gabriel and Saliba have it, fine. City always had a numerical advantage as soon as Arsenal wanted to play vertically and forward. Even if Declan Rice went and dropped in, they tried to split the centre backs to maybe form a three. They just went, yep, same thing. Whoever goes into that zone, not interested in you whatsoever. And that made the game very difficult for Arsenal. Whether they'll do that again in the league game, to be confirmed. And I
Yeah,
don't think there's a huge relevance for what City did against Arsenal to what they'll necessarily do in other games. But it is a way of getting Cherky in that team centrally alongside Haaland at the top of it.
he feels
Same time.
increasingly important to City, doesn't he, Cherky?
I made a comment on our Patreon Q&A with Suj on Monday that I felt like I wouldn't be surprised if we were sitting here in 12 months going he should be the player of the year,
Yeah,
because he's unlike any other player in this league at the moment. He's a joy to watch. He's close control. He's a little
maybe
bit.
a
I
little
mean,
bit
he's
like.
got more technical qualities than someone like Dembele, who obviously is a player I love. They're not alike, but that difficulty in getting the ball off him feels similar. It just feels like it's glued to him.
Yeah, Wirtz is kind of similar, I think. When we were linked to sign Florian Wirtz, Cherky was in the conversation as well. It felt like maybe one or the other would maybe join Liverpool. So Cherky and Wirtz do a lot of the same good stuff, I think. But I think Cherky at the moment does it with a little bit more panache, doesn't he? I think he's kind of, yeah, he's an absolute ball. Yeah, great player.
Big FPL haul for Nico O'Reilly owners,
Yeah,
blanking on their bench this way. It's going to make him in demand very much, very quickly, if obviously City double, particularly, and obviously game week 33. We'll come back to that in a couple of weeks. Title race. I mean, Opta still have Arsenal 97%. That's kind of how I feel about it at the moment. I mean, that's so 97% is nearly done deal, isn't it?
Yeah,
If City won every game left, Arsenal would need 16 points from their other six games, because obviously they do still play each other in game week 33. So that would leave Arsenal in a position of having to win five, draw one from, oh, sorry, win four, draw one if they beat Bournemouth from their games after City. They should still do that, but it puts a bit of pressure on. We were just discussing off camera, I think, like particularly the game at West Ham in 36, actually. If West Ham are obviously scrapping for points, might be the one that looks the most slippy.
sticky. Yeah,
A little bit. League table won't say that, but it might be the one. I don't see enough problems in Arsenal's fixtures otherwise. I think there'll be a bit of pressure on the Bournemouth game now, but they should still win it.
yeah,
Newcastle at home. Newcastle definitely have the possibility to expose them in terms of speed on transition if they defend properly on the day. We've seen Newcastle be capable of that,
and they
but
can rest up a bit now, Newcastle as well, can't they?
yeah, that certainly helps.
Yeah,
But that is obviously highly likely to be a midweek fixture. That also said, it's probably going to fall 3 days after Arsenal go to the Etihad. So it'll be quick. But they can also, if they win that game, they get it out of their system very quickly if the game at the Etihad went wrong. Fulham at home, they have had some problems with Fulham, but Fulham, in all seriousness, probably be in a position with nothing to play for. Then there's that West Ham game. Burnley at home is a gimme. And I'd said to you also off camera, Palace away, final day. I mean, there's a circumstance here where they might have to go to Selhurst and win, but Palace might have a Conference League final 3 days later.
yeah,
And you couldn't blame, I know the league would be screaming for Palace to play their strongest team, but if you're a Crystal Palace fan, with the Conference League final 3 days later, you wouldn't want any of your first team players playing. And that's up to Palace.
absolutely.
They
Yeah,
have every right to do that.
yeah.
So I think City would have to be close to perfect from their 8 games left. I don't think they will be. But if they did, that takes them to 85. Arsenal are on 70. I think what's absolutely clear with a 9 point disadvantage with a game in hand is they have to beat Arsenal.
Oh,
There's,
without a shadow
there's
of a doubt.
very little doubt
Yeah,
about it. To have any chance, they've got to win that game in 33. And I think they've got to go to Chelsea and win before that as well.
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that game in 33 ends up very different tactically. I have an instinct in me that Arsenal might go for it on
Just
the
try
day
and
at the
put it
Etihad.
put it all to
Yeah,
bed.
which is,
Yeah,
it would be like against everything that we've seen this season. But I have an instinct that there might be a will to try and prove something to show where afterwards everyone
statement.
goes, yeah, do you know what? They went to the Etihad, played well and won. And everyone goes, okay, yeah, ultimately you deserved it. And listen, if they win the league, they will deserve it.
Of course.
We're still watching Real Madrid against Bayern Munich in them Champions League quarterfinals, though. We're not watching Arsenal. Okay. You'll certainly be watching Mo Salah in the Champions League quarterfinal. We did a People's Poll podcast on Tuesday. The last one we done, you and I did together, David. It was on Mo Salah after the incident at Leeds. This feels better, even from a neutral perspective. Okay, thank you, Mo. You've been brilliant. Off you go.
Yeah, mixed feelings on this. I'm obviously sad to sort of see him go. We'll get onto the brilliant bits about Mo Salah in a minute, but I am relieved. I have to say, I think it feels like the right time to give him goodbye that he deserves, and I'm so pleased that what happened around December time wasn't the end for him, because he's been one of the best players in Premier League history. True great, definitely, and yeah, leaving on happier terms like this just feels like the right thing to do. So he's not been at it this season. I think some of the reasons for that are not all of his doing. You know, he's really missed Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's never had a consistent right back behind him all season, but you know, he's just not been the same player. I've watched countless.
Jota. It's got to be mentioned, isn't
Of
it?
course, yeah, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I've watched countless sort of montages of his goals this week since the news was announced, and scores all different kinds of goals. But kind of the abiding thing is, like, you couldn't really see him scoring those goals at the moment, given how he is, unfortunately, certainly at Premier League level anyway. So yeah, absolutely love him to bits. He's been a transformative signing for Liverpool. We wouldn't have won any of what we've won over the last best part of a decade without Mo Salah. 2 league titles, Champions League, domestic cups. He's won everything. And watching those montages, you know, he doesn't just score one type of goal when he was back at his best. The sort of those goals all at the Anfield Road end. He scores one against you. I presume you were there. You know, where he sort of ties Ben Davis and
I
knocks
wasn't
him.
actually.
Was he
I was
not?
in a
No.
pub, the same game at the Wanyama goal.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's right. Yeah, that was the Wanyama
Yeah.
game. Yeah, same corner of the pitch. He scores that Everton goal in his first season. I think that might have won goal of the season.
Won the Puskas Award,
The
didn't it? It was
plus, yeah,
sorry, worst Puskas Award ever. It's only Tottenham players should win Puskas
plus,
Awards,
yeah,
just for clarity. That's all we'll ever win. Can we just have our Puskas Awards, please?
yeah. And then the same corner of the ground as well. He scores that goal against City as well, where he does Laporte and Cancelo and just rivals it past Edison. But there's the goals against that arrow at the Cop end against Chelsea where he just leathers it. Didn't score
Oh,
many goals
yeah.
like that, but yeah, there's other goals where he's just like through one on one. He sort of wriggles out of situations. He's just a genius. And when he came to the club, he was kind of the missing piece of the jigsaw of that front three. But Sadio Mane and Firmino were already at the club when Klopp signed him in just before the 17-18 season. Pretty much from the word go, he was just outrageous for us. It was, yeah. Given this is an FPL podcast as well, he is just an FPL. He's FPL royalty, isn't he? I mean, everyone will have their sort of highs and lows with Mo. I guess it's if you didn't captain him for that game at Old Trafford when everyone sort of steamed into Kai Havertz, that would
So
be
I'm going to jump in here. Yeah.
yeah,
I was going to talk about best and kind of worst memories of having Mo Salah. And that's the best memory, despite it being the worst. I said probably the most ill-fated thing ever on one of the podcasts in the build-up because I did captain Kai Havertz that weekend when Chelsea beat Norwich 7-0 and he did nothing.
yeah.
And I'm taking the gamble. I'm taking Mo on. It's not like you go to Old Trafford and get a hat trick. Like insert skull faces and that the music that goes with it. Go on, Nico, clip it up. And Mo, sure enough, scored a hat trick at Old Trafford and went off. It's like fucking hell, absolutely destroyed.
Chelsea won 7-0 and
Yeah, 7-0, and the Havertz
yeah,
did nothing.
Sam Havertz did nothing. Yeah, I can remember
Up,
captaining Salah when we beat Bournemouth 9-0 and he just got one assist in that
I
game.
took him on that day. Yeah, I remember we was out as a family that afternoon, and I'd taken him on. It was quite early in the season, wasn't it? It was like August. Scott Parker was still Bournemouth manager. I was taking him on, and it felt like everyone was captaining him. And I thought it was towards half time. I thought I checked the notifications, and it was something like goal Robertson, assist Trent, or I can't remember, 5-0. This was like half time. And I was like, oh my God, right, okay, let's have a look through, see how badly he's killed me. No. Wow, okay. And then the goals kept coming in the second half. It's like, he's still not Mo.
Yeah,
He's still not Mo. Unbelievable. Yeah, the 9-0.
Diaz went off that one, I
Nothing.
think. Yeah, there was a game at Palace in the COVID era where he was actually started on the bench. We won 7-0 at Selhurst Park, and he comes on, just runs riot. 4 goals against Watford. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, blank game week. A number of people triple captained him despite it was only 4 fixtures that weekend. Everybody captained 4 goals and assists, 29 points, single game week.
Might be the record that I think for one player. I think I read. Um,
Might be for a single,
for a single,
possibly.
yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, what a player, what a man. I mean, he don't want to sort of go over old ground with that stuff back in December, but that all stemmed really from like the winner that he is really like. He's just, I do think it all came from clearly made some mistakes in sort of the way he went about it, but he is a winner. He wants to play every single game, believes he deserves to play every game, and sort of he just couldn't handle the fact that he was deemed sort of dispensable, really. So yeah, all water under the bridge that one of Liverpool's greatest. There's absolutely no question about that. I would say, other than Kenny Dalglish, he's in a conversation with any other player that you want to talk about with Liverpool, really, including Steven Gerrard. I think he's what
So
he's
for you, greatest of Premier League era, let's say.
yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
So your
he's,
time, really,
he is the individual who's given me
the
probably
most joy.
the most joy out of all of our
Fair.
players. I think. Yeah, Gerrard as well. I mean, unfortunately for Gerrard, he played in some absolutely dire Liverpool teams, unfortunately, whereas Salah had the benefit of top quality all over the pitch and a fantastic coach as well. So
Yeah, but it was still so often his individual
yeah,
moments that we remember.
yeah,
Many of the goals you'd mentioned. We're throwing a couple more double game week hero as well. I remember the night I went to Burnley, not the time it snowed, but the time I went back and it was pissing down with rain, went on my own, drenched, back on the train. How many points has Mo got me? Just the 84 from triple captain. That was double game week 26, 2022. Last season as well. Those who triple captained him versus people on the arse man with the returns in the Merseyside derby and at Aston Villa
well, yeah.
was at 87 points, I think, triple captaincy. So people have had some absolutely disgusting returns off him. For me, if you had an FPL Hall of Fame, he'd have to be the first person that went in. He'd have to be.
Yeah,
Highest ever scorer in a season. I mean, I think the highest returnee for a player in the first season. I think FPL put a tweet out. They don't often get shit right, but they put a tweet out yesterday. 9 seasons, 2,182 points, 189 goals, 103 assists, 8 seasons of over 200 FPL points. Most points in an FPL season, 344. Third for all-time career points. You know, the two players he's behind.
Henry and Rooney, is it? I think.
No, not Henry.
Go on.
Lampard.
Oh right. Okay.
But those two longer,
Yeah,
real
longevity.
longevity
Yeah.
in terms of what they did in the league and stuff as well. But I think, yeah, King.
There'd be so many games where he wouldn't have done much, to be quite honest with you, and sort of injury time, stoppage time, he would sort
Oh,
of
how many late goals? Even on
make it
last year, where it
2-0 on the
felt like he
break.
was kind of auto captain. Things like the games. Remember 3-2 at Southampton last year.
Yeah.
Weren't playing well. He was quiet. He still finished with two, like near the end and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's the perfect FPL player, really, isn't he? Because he's sort of on pens, greedy as anything as well, like very, very, very goal sort of hungry. So he's everything you want from an FPL player, really. But yeah,
How
as a
many
man,
people do you think won't captain him in game week 38 out of pure nostalgia?
well, I would. So I'm doing the chip strategy with you when we come back after the break, and maybe mention it then. But I'll mention it now. I still have the triple captaincy still in hand. I'm going to find it very difficult not to sort of one last dance go for him, really. Whether that's in 38 or if Liverpool double. Yeah, whether I would like to do it one more time, I think. So, but yeah, he'll be very popular in 38, I'd imagine. Yeah,
Yeah, if the double 33, you're looking at probably Everton away, Palace at home.
yeah,
He'd probably become the most popular captain that week as well. So there may well be one last hurrah for Mo. I don't know if we've seen enough this season to make that feel justified, but I think a lot of us will end up
yeah,
doing it under that circumstance anyway. Particularly as we know the games will be important for Liverpool. Bad little run here, mate. Defeat at Wolves, defeat at Brighton. The only team that hasn't beat Tottenham in about 2 months. Sorry, David, that's the worst statistic of all. You remain in the top five, 49 points, 1 point clear of Chelsea. Have also had a wobble, I think it's fair to say as well. Brentford now only 3 points behind you. So too at Everton. Fulham only five behind, who obviously go to yourselves in game week 32. Brighton and Sunderland only 6 points behind. Fifth place. Newcastle, Bournemouth going down to 12th and 13th are only 7 points behind. First question to you, David. And by the way, it's so likely it's fifth. It essentially needs just one of the five English teams left to pick up a draw in any of their matches, first or second legs, for England to be confirmed as fifth will be enough for Champions League. So that's going to happen. Manchester United on 55 points. They in?
yeah.
They're going to do it.
I think so. Yeah,
Benefit
yeah,
of no Europe as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. hard to.
I can't see Chelsea making up 7 points to them.
No, no, I don't think so. I just think the way Bruno Fernandes is playing and the firepower they've got up front, and the one game a week is big. I think. Yeah, I think United will be pretty confident they'll be in the top five, definitely.
Villa are on 54. Despite losing their previous three before beating West Ham at the weekend, they remain five clear of yourselves and six clear of Chelsea. And really good fixtures before you go to Villa Park in game week 37. They should make this as well, shouldn't they?
They should, yeah. I mean, Tielemans is back now. I think that's quite big for them, isn't it? He makes them tick, I think. The interesting thing about all of this is that so many of the teams have to play each other, not least us, to be honest. I mean, we've got Everton away in 33. We've then got back-to-back United away in 35, Chelsea at home 36, Villa away 37, and if Brentford keep it going, maybe that's a significant one on the last day as well. So,
well, technically, every team that you've got left, bar I would say Crystal Palace, isn't out of this.
yeah,
How can we rule Bournemouth out when they're 7 points behind you?
just the volume of teams, I suppose, that's in and
Yeah,
around
but
them,
if
isn't it?
Bournemouth put together a brilliant run, and even if you look at someone like Bournemouth, and this will go for everybody, so many teams here will have like what ifs on what if we'd done that. Bournemouth have drawn 5 games in a row. Even if they'd just won two of them, they'd converted two of them games into wins, say Brentford at home and Sunderland at home, it'd be 3 points behind you.
Yeah,
Look at Newcastle losing to Sunderland. They'd have been back in a position going only 4 points behind Liverpool.
yeah. Well, like you say,
It goes for so many teams.
every team will have hard luck stories, but definitely. But yeah, there'll be plenty of teams who fancy it, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of teams that are going to play each other around that sort of section of the table, I think. So yeah, could be arguably the most interesting thing.
And because you play a lot of those teams around you, obviously it's not a gimme in terms of your fixture schedule. Palace in 14th is the lowest position side you've got left. So you've got like none of the bottom six still to play. That said, you've obviously got City and Arsenal out of the way as well. But you rank 16th for Marteca for the remaining fixtures. Chelsea
Yeah.
13th, by the way. So challenges to come. And obviously for Chelsea, it's the two Manchester clubs up next. Then a trip to Brighton, who have suddenly got some form about them. Could disappear out of this, Chelsea.
Yeah.
There's a scenario here. We're sitting here in 3 games' time, and Chelsea are sitting like 9th, 10th. It's not impossible.
Chelsea probably looking in a worse position than we are at the moment, given the way they've been over the last certainly the last couple of weeks under Rossini. It's that's literally what's keeping us in the top five at the moment. I mean, I watched us at Brighton on Saturday. Just thought, how are we even in the conversation? The way we're sort of, coming on off the back of the Tottenham game and then that Brighton game. It's domestically, we've just been so far off it and look all at sea defensively. And I have to say, that Brighton game was almost a surprise when Kirkes equalised, to be honest, because when Ekitike goes off after 5 minutes, I was just asking myself, well, where are the goals going to come from here?
I want to tell you it was a big surprise to Lewis Dunk as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah. Yeah. We've got a big battle ahead of us, ahead of ourselves, I think.
So, trivia question.
Okay.
Do you know what is the lowest points total to qualify for the Champions League from the Premier League?
I can have a guess. It's probably be in the 60s, I imagine. 60, 65, something like that.
So the lowest points total is 60.
Is it? Okay.
Liverpool 2003-2004 season finished fourth on 60 points. Nothing else eventful happened in that football season whatsoever. Porto won the Champions League, if you were wondering. You're 11 points off that. You're currently in fifth. Your current run rate as an average, if you continued it, would run to 60.04 points over a course of a 38-game season. So roughly, this is where you're heading to, is 60 points. Now, obviously, this would be for fifth rather than fourth. But that's the run rate at the moment, is 60 points. Someone's going to get higher than that, is my prediction.
Yeah,
Now,
feels
that
like
might be Liverpool, might be Chelsea, might be someone else. I don't think 60 be enough. But this does seem to happen a lot, doesn't it? Where teams hit this point of a season and are in contention for Champions League qualification. And we see kind of full facts of why they're challenging for Champions League qualification and not for the title. It's inconsistencies.
it's just such a competitive league, though. This, I mean, depending on your viewpoint, you can say this is like a dire Premier League this season, or you can just say it's like ultra competitive because the battle down at the bottom. We've already said you're going to need probably more points than ever to stay up, or more points than kind of
Recent seasons, at least.
recent
Yeah.
seasons at least. Yeah, and we're saying that you're going to need probably fewer points than you normally would to get into the Champions League position. So that by virtue of those two things, that tells you that points get taken off each other from very high up in the table all the way down to the bottom. So it just goes to show that the level is the level's
Well, I
pretty
think
level across the playing field, I think.
what's happened across the league is that the teams that we would expect to finish mid-table, generally speaking, your familiar names, your Brightons, your Fulhams, etc., Bournemouths, these teams are good.
Yeah.
They've all leveled up. They've all leveled up. Whereas I don't think those who would expect to qualify for the Champions League have necessarily pushed on. But that's the competitors of the league. The mid-table sides are all better. Many of
Yeah.
them have very good coaches for a start, good managers, and good players.
Because they've all got loads of money. They can all buy
And
loads
going
of
into a
players.
weekend like last weekend, Brighton beating Liverpool shouldn't have surprised anybody.
Yeah.
You know, me and Suj both sat on the differential show on Friday and went, I think Brighton will beat them.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise. And they're a really interesting one here, Brighton. So they've won 4 of the last 5. Having been in a period, I think, where they lost to Crystal Palace at home, and it was, they might be looking over their shoulders. Up to 43 now, which is 6 points behind yourselves. Now, with 7 games to go, that feels like a lot. But I tell you what, of the teams challenging here, they've got the best fixtures. And if they went and beat Burnley away and Tottenham away over the next 2, then that will put them up to 49, put pressure on before playing Chelsea at home after that. Do I think Brighton have the consistency to go and win, say, 6 of the last 8? Probably not, but something might just happen here with where it's a bit of a momentum. Almost like the opposite. Oh, someone will get sucked into trouble towards the end. That's not going to happen this year in the Premier League. This might be an opposite for a change, where someone just comes out the pack and has a run. And they're the ones at the moment that, in terms of form and fixtures, I'd look at and be quite intrigued. Brentford and Fulham, I don't know if they've got the will to get over the line for it. Everton, I think, will fancy themselves a little bit. Their confidence will be flying at the moment, and big reliability in terms of them, the team, how they play, etc. I don't see below Brighton. Sunderland, Newcastle, Bournemouth would be no's for me. And I can't see Brighton having a consistency, but I do think they're the one that it might just quite suddenly be, bloody hell, how have they done that?
Yeah. Everton are up for it. I know that. I've already had Sean sort of winding me up in on Twitter.
That's very unusual for Sean.
He doesn't seem the type, does he? But he is the
No,
type.
no. It's two Sean's. There's Everton when they're winning, there's Everton when they're not.
You lose
Love
at
you,
the
buddy.
hilly dick. I'll probably just deactivate my Twitter account. I think.
Oh, I mean, let's say you both win in 32, which is no gimme. I mean, Everton go to Brentford. It's 7th against 8th. So that's just a really big game.
It is.
Loser will feel like it's probably off the table. What if Everton go there and win and you beat Fulham and then Everton beat you in 33? They're level with you, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's all to play for. Definitely. I can't. It'd be mad for me to sit here at the moment, given the way Liverpool are playing in the Premier League, to say that it's a gimme that Liverpool will get across the line. We're just
And you've got these PSG games, mate.
yeah,
No one else has got that problem.
they're not going to be simple, are they? So, yeah,
No.
still in the FA Cup as well, of course. So that's
Yeah,
another
as
extra
are
game.
Chelsea.
Yeah,
But the others aren't, are they? They're all out, I think.
think so. Yeah,
I think I've got that right.
yeah.
Who do you think to take 5th?
I have to back us. I have to back us. Usually, we've not been great at Anfield this season, but usually we are. we are reasonably reliable at home. I think that derby's going to be big, but maybe these bigger games will
It might
have
do,
to.
yeah.
I have to hope that it'll bring the best out of us in some ways. Isak, hopefully not far away, although I kind of my expectation levels are fairly low given how long he's been out for, but at least he is another attacking option. There's the Mo Salah narrative, I suppose, now. Maybe, that I do think that'll give the place a lift, now that there is a little bit of clarity on what's happening with his situation. So it'd be great to sort of send him off with a few goals and stuff. So yeah, we certainly have the quality to finish top five, even though we haven't really shown it recently.
I think common sense says that it'll probably still be Liverpool. With a couple of caveats I'd say to that. One, I think the next three are really important because I think if you then go into a period of United away, Chelsea at home, Villa away, and people are right over your shoulder, that puts real pressure on, I think. And also, I don't think you will, but if you beat PSG, I wouldn't be surprised if you dropped out. I.e., the eggs really just go so hard into the actual Champions League competition itself
Yeah,
that you dropped out. And that's the sort of circumstance, kids, where we could get 11 clubs
segue. Yeah,
playing in Europe next year. I mean, it's not much of a segue. It's just to clarify that, yeah, technically, we've had 9 English teams in Europe this season. There are circumstances where we could have 11. So, circumstance where Liverpool win the Champions League and drop out top five. If Nottingham Forest win Europa League, they'll be in the Champions League. Palace win the Conference League, they'll be in the Europa League. I would say probably most likely here is probably sixth, seventh will be Europa League, eighth will be Conference League. I think that's the most likely scenario. But there is a warped scenario where 10th could be enough to qualify for Europe, which is very unlikely, but
very unlikely.
it is a small possibility. So yeah, I think down to Bournemouth in 13th, there still should be some aims. I think Liverpool will do it, but I think the next 3 games will be really important.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit of England.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this very enlarged Thomas Tuchel squad, 35 names on it. Few surprises. What's Jason Steele doing in there? He's potentially going to the World Cup unofficially as a fourth goalkeeper. Seems to be the idea here. It's not a big deal. England have done this before with people like Tom Heaton, but he's been given an official call up, which I think's right because he's not like a 40-year-old or something. He's an actual
Sure,
goalkeeper.
Premier League goalkeeper. Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose under a circumstance where 2 of these goalkeepers got injured, maybe he'd go as a first choice goalkeeper, third choice goalkeeper. So lots of players in the squad because it's been bloated. Thomas Tuchel has said that the reason for this is 11 of the players are not going to join up until after the game with Uruguay tomorrow night. So it's essentially players who have been regular in the squads and have had regular European football is essentially what that list is. So, a few players back into the squad that I don't think have worked with Tuchel before. Lewis Hall, I don't think, has been in an England squad under Thomas Tuchel. Neither's Harry Maguire. Kobe Mino, obviously back in the Manchester United team recently. Fikayo Tomori, who lots
Yeah.
were calling for a couple of years ago, but I think people have forgotten about in many circles. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously his first call up since joining Leeds. It's the first England call up for James Garner, which I think is richly deserved, by the way. Now, clearly, 35 names are not going to the World Cup. And there are players who are not in this squad that I think we can be fairly sure will be in the squad if they're fit, such as Reece James, as an example. The notable omission really is Trent. Thoughts on that? Is it okay for other people to leave Liverpool on free transfers and not get stick? Or I'm just
It,
digging. I'm
I know
joking.
you are. I'm not. I'm not biting.
Yeah, go on, please bite.
I mean, it's hard for me to sort of poo-poo anything Tuchel's doing at the moment, isn't it? Because he's only lost that one friendly against Senegal, and obviously he's an elite coach, but he would always be in my squad, even after everything that's happened with Liverpool. I don't think England are blessed with many players. I don't think any nation is blessed with some of the things that Trent can do. I know there's there was the experiment of playing him in midfield and stuff, which never worked. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one to me. But I mean, Tuchel hasn't got much wrong so far, so he's obviously decided to proceed without him. But for me, I don't really get it, to be honest.
I 100% would find a place for him. I
Yeah,
think the 26-man squad, I get it. If he's 23 and you're like, he's not one of my preferred two right backs, you most take him as one of your free extras, I think. And
yeah,
even if it's just, I can use him later in games, or even if you want to go kind of over the top because you're playing deeper against someone. There's so many utilizations, I think, for Trent that he should find his way into a 26-man squad for me.
definitely. Yeah,
But we're not going to discuss the squads that we'd want.
yeah.
So I gave David a bit of a task yesterday, and I think the result of this is extremely interesting. I asked David to put together the 26, assuming everyone's fit, and I'm sure someone here won't be. But what would Tuchel want for his 26-man squad? And I did the same, having not looked at the selections that David picked. And quite incredibly, we've agreed on 23. So again, this isn't necessarily what we'd want. This is what we think Tuchel wants. So we're agreement on the three goalkeepers. I think Jordan Pickford and Dean Henderson picked themselves. We both think James Trafford will be the third. Why did you think that over Ramsdale?
Trafford's the future, I think, isn't it? It
Spot
just
on, yeah.
makes sense to get him involved
I,
in
I
tournaments. I
think
think.
key on that is with Tuchel expending for another 2 years. If you said to me now, right, in 2 years, one of them two will be keeping goal for England, it's Trafford.
Yeah,
So I think with that in mind, yeah, the fact I'm not trying to bomb Jordan Pickford out here, but there is a scenario here where James Trafford might be England number one in 2 years' time. That's all I'm
definitely.
saying.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, always as the third choice, the younger option goes for me. So something that could potentially become the number one is ideal. Like we had Joe Hart in 2010, and then 2 games in, we realised we probably should just have him in goal. Um, Fabio Capello disagreed with that. Right, fullbacks. We've agreed on 4 here. So Reece James, Gibbon, the Newcastle pair of Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall, and also Nico O'Reilly of Manchester City, who obviously can play in midfield, as we well know as well. But I think those would be fullbacks that will go if they're fit. Centre backs, we're agreed on 3. Ezri Konsa, Mark Gay, who are 2 of the 11, by the way, that won't feature on Friday night. And John Stones, we think, fitness permitting, he'll want him to go. I know there's a number of people that think John Stones should still be part of the first choice centre back pairing. Personally, for me, I have no problem with being Konsa and Gay. I think they're both outstanding centre
Same.
backs
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Midfield, David desperately wants Jordan Henderson to go, and I think Thomas Tuchel's probably going to agree with him. Elliot Anderson will obviously go. Declan Rice will go. We're both in agreement. Adam Wharton will go.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
I think the fact that England have been playing primarily with a single pivot as well, it's Anderson or Wharton or Henderson for the kind of late cameo job. Declan Rice a bit more advanced, but can also play that role. In front of that, Rogers, Bellingham, Palmer, Eze, we all agree on. Wide players, Saka, Madueke, Gordon, Rashford, we agree on. And Harry Kane, obviously. Me and David are in agreement that those 23 Thomas Tuchel will take to the World Cup if they are fit. We have disagreed on the last 3 names. And these might surprise either way. So, David, explain your 3 that you think will make it in.
So this is fitness dependent, but I've put Levi Colwill as one of the centre backs. Just feels like a nice option to have a left-footed centre back option. Tuchel will know him. The Tuchel manager
Yes.
at Chelsea, yeah. Tuchel will know him.
But it's had him at England as well.
Yeah,
So I don't think there's much doubt if Levi Cole had been fit, he'd be in the squad.
yeah.
I don't argue that.
Um, yeah, I mean, we had a bit of back and forth on WhatsApp. There's other centre back options. Come on to the one you picked in a bit, but there's Dan Burn, Trevor Chalobah, Harry Maguire. There are a few players in the mix there. But yeah, the left sided option at centre back, Levi Colwill, I went with. Pick Jed Spence. I don't know if he'd necessarily get in my England squad if I was doing it, but I just think with fitness concerns over Reece James historically, um, Spence can
And
play
you
out.
could say Tino Livramento as well,
Yeah,
in fairness. Yeah.
Spence can play left back or right back. I
We
think in
could
a
just
20.
take Trent, Tommy, but
Yeah, not a bad shout. I think Spence could be really useful and versatile in a squad. You went with another option, which I actually don't disagree with, to cover at right back. And my other one was Phil Foden, which is, yeah, based on what you're seeing with your own eyes at the moment, probably seems a little bit mad, but just the capability of the player. I, I think Tuchel does like him. I think he would like to find a way to get him in. Again, he can play in multiple positions, so he could play anywhere across the attacking positions. And I'm not sure he would be the answer if something happened to Harry Kane, but it wouldn't be a position that's alien to him if needs must. So I think if you get to the summer and Foden has shown something, I think Tuchel would want to find a way to get him in there. I think.
no, that's all fine. There's logic in it. I think Levi Colwill would have to start playing for Chelsea very quickly. Is
Yeah,
kind of my viewpoint on it. I think he'd almost have more chance as well if Tuchel decided to take five centre backs. You
yeah,
almost want to take like an extra one as we're kind of talking about an extra three here, an extra one as an insurance if he couldn't prove his fitness. So okay, fine, he didn't make it. It's a 25-man squad now. I agree that I think if he could prove his fitness, then yeah, I just think it might be a bit late in the day now. We don't have naturalness in terms of left-sided centre back. Mark Gay, I think, is the most natural for it. I don't think it's a problem for John Stones either to
no,
play that position if necessary. And Conser can play it. So I don't think it's ideal. I think you probably would want one in there like him or Jared Branthwaite if he'd had a season also that had not suffered badly for injuries. You would want it to be a left footer. I think it might not be. Jed Spence, he likes. I think it's fair to say. And I think in the circumstance where any of the four fullbacks we've agreed on was injured, Jed Spence will go. Because he's clearly decided that he likes the fact that he can obviously cover at right back and left back. And do you know what? In a World Cup squad, that's pretty useful.
yeah.
He's also, if his concentration's right, 1v1 defending, he doesn't mind that. Like he does fancy himself. If you if you put him up against Mbappe or Yamal, there's every chance that he'd get torn up. But that was also what happens to most people. But he'd fancy himself, you know. He'd like that sort of battle. His concentration goes when he's playing poor opponents and
I
stuff.
think he is quite a good one-on-one defender. Yeah, when we played the other week, he did fine against Frimpong, shut him down largely. I thought. Yeah,
Foden, I think, will end up going like you, but I think he'll end up going because the chances are one of these names that we've agreed on won't be fit. It's just commonly probably what will happen. And then by default, there's a place for him. On the attacking players I've put in there, I couldn't find a place to put him in personally. I don't think it's justified.
I understand that. Yeah, he's not been great. Yeah,
Okay, the three alternatives I've gone for, and there's more discussion points to have on top of this. I've gone Jarell Quansah rather than Levi Colwell. He also can cover at right back. That might explain some of the Trent exclusion, maybe. He's doing fine out in Germany. I think he's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But Tuchel seems to have liked him. He's been in squads and stuff. He's been used. He started in Albania, I think. So I just think he might be ahead of others. But he is one of the ones that's pulled out the squad. So he's been replaced by Ben White. And I know a lot of people quite unhappy about that because, oh, Ben White said a couple of years ago he didn't play for England. I don't think it's quite what he said. But I imagine Tuchel was at Wembley on Sunday and probably thought he's all right at right back. I want to have a closer look at him. It's fine. Harvey Barnes is a bit more of a surprise because I thought he was going to play for Scotland.
yeah, seemed that way.
So it's not McBarnes, it's still Barnes. I'd be very surprised if Harvey Barnes made it in again, but I guess it's another one we'd look at and go, left wing options might be a bit short if lost a couple of players, maybe. I don't think either of them, mate. But I think Jarell Quansah might just have the favouritism over others at the moment. But I would say that I think the almost fourth centre back choice just feels massively up for grabs. You got Tamori back in the squad, Maguire reintegrated. We can't be surprised if it's Harry Maguire. And Dan Burn, he obviously really likes. And Dan Burn, of course, is natural left footer. I just have an instinct that Quansah might be the one that goes, Again, thinking younger and longer term, maybe. Rather than a fifth fullback, I've gone for a midfielder who can also play fullback, and we've seen that a lot. As already said, I think James Garner's call up is thoroughly deserved. And I can't help, when I put teams together, as in squad composition, it bothers me how light central midfield feels. It bothers me. I would want to take five central midfielders for me personally. And I think we can accept that Henderson is going to go. Whether people like it or not, that's what he's going to pick. Rice is going to go. Anderson's going to go. Adam Wharton, as a player with such a unique skill set, should go.
I've got no problem with Jordan Henderson going, by the way. I think it's, I'm not saying he's going to get a game per se, but I
He's
think
cheerleader, isn't he?
but he's had a reasonable season for back in the Premier League now. I don't think it's a controversial pick at all, Jordan Henderson, given the other
I
options.
think he's certainly proved himself to still be of a top level player this
Yeah,
year at Brentford, which many people were writing off. I think it's fair to say. I think he's done fine this season. We know his importance to the squad now, where he's respected, and obviously his leadership stuff is extremely well valued. The ability to come off the bench and play multiple roles to do something the last 10 minutes, whether it's a man marking job, a sitting job, whatever that is, play balls in behind over the
eat the
top,
ball.
whatever it
Yeah,
is. Tuchel obviously sees value in that. It's fine. I don't think Jordan Henderson will be starting any games for England at the
no,
World
no,
Cup.
I don't
But
either.
that's my point. That's why I'd also want to take another one.
Yeah,
So I really like James Garner. I think he can play six, eight. He's shown he can cover left back, right back. I think that's ideal for a squad. Another one, young as well. Potential to be in a position maybe in 2 years where we're going, should he be in the team actually? So I think he's had an outstanding football season. I would want to take James Garner. And the last player I'd take is Jared Bowen,
yeah,
who I suspect might end up kind of being odd man out in the sense that his best position is right-sided forward, and I think it's clear that Saka and Madueke are ahead of him. So he's going to find this difficult. But Tuchel's never leaving him out of squads or anything. He's still in there and around it. And what I think is a really interesting aspect is Tuchel has said all the way through he will take two nines. He's been clear about that all the way through. He's like, no, 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 we're not just going to take Kane. There'll be two nines. And yet we've heard that, and you and I still don't think that he'll do that because there's too much quality behind. And there are players in there. Palmer, you mentioned Foden, Bellingham, I think Rogers, even Rashford, Gordon, particularly from the left, drag inside, could all play the nine position.
yeah.
But another one who definitely can is Jared Bowen. And when I break it down, I think, would I rather take Calvert Lewin or Solanke or any other forward option
Welbeck.
rather than
Yeah,
Welbeck? Would I rather take any of them over Jared Bowen? I just come to the conclusion all the time. The answer to that is no.
yeah, same. I drew the same conclusion. Yeah, I really like Jared Bowen as a player and as a lad. Actually, I think he comes across really well, and so I would have, I could see the appeal. But like you've just said, tends to be better off the right, I think, and with Saka, Madueke, and Palmer as options, even Foden can play on the right. Bowen's going to struggle for game time, I think. So he would maybe go nominally as that number nine backup for Kane.
I
In which
just
case, he's
think
probably not going to play much.
I always try and think about it. In fact, let's take a step back. Okay, if he was to take a second nine, be it Calvert Lewin, I suppose we're saying Calvert Lewin, Solanke, or Watkins.
Yeah,
Bearing in mind he has worked with Watkins. So he might just be going, I want to look at a couple of different players. He might have even said to him, look, you've had a long season, Europa involved, I'm going to leave you out. You're not out the running. That's a possibility. I think we probably at this stage have to assume it's not going to be Welbeck,
I
because
think so.
surely probably would have been in this squad by this point. He could have even cheekily called him up, couldn't he, as one of the replacements here, I'd say, after the week. Shit, scored twice against Liverpool. I want to call you up. And he's not done it. So at the moment, he's probably Calvert Lewin, Solanke, who's obviously had a big injury interrupted season, or Watkins, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Which one of the three do you take of that?
Watkins are those three, I think. But he's not a
Oh, he
great
hasn't.
season. No. Some other names I mentioned that I just looked have been in recent Tuchel squads. Don't know if you want to. I've got any thoughts on any of these.
Yeah, great shoot.
Morgan Gibbs White doesn't make it.
No, I don't think he will. I'd really like him, you know that.
Yeah,
But no, I don't think he will. I think the others in there, even if you compared him to say Eze, if you had to put Eze on the left, for example, it just feels way more suitable than Gibbs White.
Yeah. Curtis Jones would be a no. I mean, I've not. I don't think he'll go.
I really like Curtis Jones, but I think, yeah, the fact that he's not in this squad, can't see it. Another one
Can't
could cover fullback for you.
can't say this one with a straight face. Conor Gallagher. He's just missed out for you, has he? That one. Um,
I'll
yeah,
tell you what, it might be a struggle, but I reckon I come up with 40 midfielders I'd put ahead of Conor Gallagher. I'm gonna, actually, you know, I'm gonna do that in my private own time later.
do it on
Um,
your holidays when you're off. You're off doing the content.
Callum Olasese at Tottenham would be ahead of him. There you go. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
No, I did note, because I looked back at some teams as well. He started the friendly against Senegal, which was really bad
Right. Yeah.
last summer. And guess what's happened since, David?
Not been in another squad.
Right, there you
Yeah.
go. Moving on.
Yeah. Other keepers: Ramsdale, Pope. Other defenders: Lewis Skelly. Tuchel's picked him a few times.
It's
Not
no
just
way
not
you'd pick him over O'Reilly or Hall
just
now. I
not
think,
not playing. Yeah.
yeah, it's obviously had a difficult season for a few different reasons.
Yeah. The others we've mentioned. To be fair, so yeah, feels like
I, I tell
23
you
to
what, he's done well
26.
as well. I think because he's been quite continuous Tuchel in saying, like, you know, want to keep the camp together and stuff like that. People aren't shocked that there aren't massive surprises in the
Yeah.
squad. I think Calvert-Lewin Solanke call-ups are, I want to look at you, and if I really like you, then one of you might go. And he's probably as well, like, again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's even had a word with Watkins and said, look, you're not out to running. I want to look at these two. And I don't want to have four number nines in the camp. Doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't take any of them, no. I just think to myself, I think, say Harry got injured in game one. Is he going to play Calvert Lewin or Solanke every game? He's not.
No.
He's more likely to do something like move Gordon inside
Yeah.
or
He'll
play
get
a bow
creative.
in there.
I
I
agree.
just think that's more likely. I think whoever this would be as a nine is, right, I'm going to put you in front of Harry for the last 15 minutes because we need a goal.
If Watkins had have had,
Or we win the first two group games, here's your game.
yeah,
That kind of gig.
if Watkins had have had this season that he had last season, he would be in the
Yeah,
mix, wouldn't
without
he?
a doubt.
That'd be clear. But there's
Without a doubt.
no one making the case at the
And
moment.
obviously, the other big benefit to Watkins is the experience of playing the role of being second to Harry Kane, and also in a big moment where we needed him, he produced one of the
Yeah,
greatest moments that we've had with the winning goal against the Netherlands, which
Netherlands.
we'll never forget. But I don't think he's had a good season at all.
No, I agree. I agree with
I
that.
think Dom is probably the closest profile to Harry, but nowhere near it on this season. Nowhere near it.
No,
So
no.
if I had to take one, arguably Calvert Lewin, because I just think if you're chasing a goal at the end, that's the one I'd trust the most to get on the end of a cross. Ultimately, nothing else.
Yep.
He's the one I'd trust to be in and around it inside the penalty area if that's what we're chasing, more than Watkins or Solanke. So if I had to take one at this moment, it'd probably be Tom.
Okay. Shall I do a roundup of what's coming up this weekend?
Yes, there are some big games, and particular good luck to Wales, Northern and Republic Island tonight.
Yep. So I'll just go through the European permutations first. So we have four different paths, which will produce four qualifiers. So path A, Italy will play Northern Ireland and Wales will play Bosnia. The winners of the Wales-Bosnia match will have home advantage for the final on Tuesday. The qualifier from those four will go into Group B, along with Canada, Qatar, and Switzerland. So decent looking group. Chances to qualify if you actually
Very
do get
much
to the
so,
World Cup.
yeah. Particularly when, what have we got? I'm trying to do, how many groups are there now? 12. Stupid.
We're group Hell, I think.
It's yeah, fucking hell. It's 8 third place teams go through, isn't it?
Yeah,
You'd have to fancy that.
you have to fancy it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Path B. Okay, so Ukraine play Sweden. That game will be played in Levante's ground in Valencia due to the unrest.
Oh, it's not in
still
the Mestalla. I thought it was in the Mestalla.
No,
In
it's
Levante, isn't it?
Levante. Yeah. Poland, Albania is the other game in that path. It'll be either Ukraine or Sweden that will have home advantage in the final. So if Ukraine win, the game will be played in Valencia again. Qualifier from those four will go into Group F along with Netherlands, Japan, and Tunisia.
That's the title one.
Path C, Turkey play Romania and Slovakia play Kosovo. it will be Slovakia or Kosovo that will have home advantage in the final. Qualifier goes into Group D along with USA, Paraguay, and Australia. So again, chances to progress out of that group, I think.
It'd be Turkey got a good young team now.
Yeah, I
Some
think
really good players.
they're the favourites in the
Yeah, it'd
full.
be a nice one to qualify. Nothing against the others, just they've got some, Arda Güler, etc. They've got some really good young players now.
Yeah. And the other path is Denmark take
What would
on
Turkey go into, or the others? Which group at the World Cup?
Group D along with USA, Paraguay, and Australia. So
Ha, that's a fun group. Yeah.
fun group, yeah. Path D, Denmark take on North Macedonia, and Czech Republic take on Ireland. It will be either the Czechs or Ireland that will have home advantage in the final. Qualifier will go into Group A along with Mexico, South Africa, and South Korea. That's wide open, that path, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too clued up on the strength of South Africa at the moment. South Korea always give themselves, obviously, a pretty good showing, and Mexico home advantage.
Yeah. So that's Europe. The intercontinental playoffs that we've spoke about in previous weekenders, they also take place. First one is tonight. Bolivia against Suriname will take place in Monterrey in Mexico tonight. The winner will play Iraq on Tuesday night. The winner of that will go into Group I along with
What's the
France.
altitude here? Because that's quite important for Bolivia, isn't it?
That's not too bad. The other one in Guadalajara is played way above sea level, so
Is it really?
I think
Okay.
Bolivia will be disappointed that they're not playing in Guadalajara. I think.
So
So
mad, isn't it?
mad,
Can you
yeah.
put us up higher?
A bit higher up, please, lads. So yeah, the winner of the qualifier from those three, Bolivia, Suriname, Iraq, will go into Group I, which is a tasty group, which is France, Senegal, and Norway. So that's if there is a group of death, that's the one, isn't it?
Just turn around and go home, kids.
Yeah,
Quite possibly. So
Simpsons gif.
I would. I was reading up interestingly a little bit on Suriname. Obviously, they've tried to take quite a number of people from the Netherlands in terms of lower down the pyramid there and got themselves half decent team. And I think on the face of it, well, Bolivia should definitely beat them. Actually, looking into it, that's probably not a given because the amount Bolivia put weightage in terms of their home performances and stuff. And even if they did, Iraq may well deal with them. So that's quite open. I'd be surprised if Suriname won twice, I think.
Yeah,
I think probably Iraq will be the one, I think.
so I've got the world rankings here. Iraq are 58 for however accurate the world rankings are. Bolivia are 76 and Suriname are 122. So Iraq and Bolivia, there's not much between them, but as you say, a lot of Bolivia's results come due to their altitude. The other part of the intercontinental playoffs, so New Caledonia, they're ranked 150. They will play Jamaica,
just above Scotland.
Yeah,
I'm joking. Well done, Scots.
New Caledonia 150. They'll play Jamaica, who are ranked 70 in the early hours of tomorrow morning in Guadalajara. Winner of that will play DR Congo, who are ranked 48 early on Wednesday morning.
Sure, Congo have got to do that, haven't they?
Congo got some decent players. Yeah, they've got Johan Visser. They've got
Newcastle fans just blew up their coffee in their mouth there, mate. Sorry.
Noah Siddiqui, who Sunderland fans will
Newcastle
be
fans just blew up their coffee again.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who has no ties to Newcastle. That's okay. Chancellor Mbemba as well. Newcastle fans will remember him as well. So
wow, yeah, okay. Who knew that this would be a thing?
Yeah. Qualifier from those three will go into Group K along with Portugal, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. So that's quite an exotic looking group.
Portugal, Colombia, it feels like the most attractive fixture in the group stage to me.
Yeah, that's tasty. That it's pure World Cup, that isn't it? Just some other bits to maybe be aware of. So Cristiano Ronaldo will miss Portugal's friendlies with USA and Mexico this week due to injury, and we have found in the past that Portugal tend to do quite well when Ronaldo's not available. They've had some thumping wins without him.
He is allowed in the countries, just to clarify. Yeah,
as far as we know, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Kylian Mbappe is in the France squad. They're also in the States. They play friendlies against Brazil and Colombia. I think Deschamps come under a little bit of criticism for calling him up, but he has maintained that Mbappe is fit to play. There was due to be the Finalissima in Qatar this week between Argentina and Spain. That's been cancelled due to the unrest in the Middle East. So Argentina have got the phone out and arranged home friendlies against Mauritania and Zambia, possibly the only countries that were available
Boom.
in Buenos Aires. Spain managed to get games on against Serbia and Egypt in Spain, so they've got two reasonable
So
levels of.
just on that, there is. You would think, okay, fine, you can't have the finalists there, and I get like maybe you don't want to play it as an away game in Madrid or something like that. You would have thought that the most common thing here would have been that they just still play each other somewhere else. You don't have to pick up the phone or anyone else. Like we're both available, highly competitive. Um, but I read that there was a bit of a feeling that Argentina didn't want the game because they'd taken a tanking off Spain prior to the last World Cup and felt that it damaged their confidence. I will
Okay,
remind you that Argentina went on to lift the
I
trophy,
did
by the
indeed.
way. Okay. Yeah, really strange.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot going on in the world in general, and not there'll be implications for the World Cup. Um, yeah, there's FIFA are currently not entertaining the possibility of Iran moving their games outside of the US at the moment, but watch this space on that one. That's it.
Yeah, lots of messy stuff. Reports of even players having to pay like $15,000 to get in the country and stuff like that. We'll cover more the closer we get to the tournament. When you read out about teams that might qualify and stuff, I think it piques the interest a little bit more. When I actually think about the tournament, I don't want it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
yes, we'll still do content on it, no doubt, and we'll
Still
try
watch
and
it. Yeah.
focus on the football as much as we can. Okay. Cheers, David. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Enjoy your break as well,
Thank
my
you.
friend. Serge, if you're listening, enjoy your break. Nico, if you're listening, enjoy your break. For our patrons, thank you as always for your support. Enjoy your break. If you'd like to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. David will be back with me for our next podcast. Will be Tuesday, April the 7th. Chipson's strategy one last time following the FA Cup quarterfinals. Every chance we might have fixture confirmation by that point as well. Audio listeners, 5-star review goes a really long way. YouTubers, smash a like, hit the sub button. Have a great weekend, everyone. For the audio listeners, cue music, please. Man child.